Howdy folks, Papa Joe here. Here comes my first one in. Let's see if it's Jason or not. There's number two in. Boy, that was quick. Well, the first one hit the like button. That was Bobby. What's up, Bobby? Whoever number two, they didn't hit that like button yet. Nana girl, what up? Howdy, number three. I'm sitting around being lazy tonight. So you've been binge watching some videos, have you there, Nana? Warwick, what's up, mate? I'm just talking about you yesterday. And it wasn't very good either. Told Grandma that you said for me to give her a cuddle. I said, I guess that's Australian for giving you a hug. Well, Nana girl, did you go listen to any of those recordings and phone conversations I had with drivers that have just entered the industry? I understand. Grandma don't talk Australian. And I told her she wasn't a mate either. She was a lassie or a lass. I'm trying to educate her. She just blew me off, went back to bed. She spent most of yesterday in bed. Well, the one I did with Kale, he's going through school as we speak. Probably sometime this week I'll do another phone call with him and see what is, let's see, he was wrapping up his second week on that phone conversation. So we'll see how that all went for him. I think he's in his third week now. So that'll be later on. Then Stone that you heard me talking to, he's only been out here about 6 months. The Jim Dunn guy you heard me talking to, he had been a local driver for years, and he just came OTR. So I've been trying to do some of them to give you, give everybody, not literally you, to give you a heads up on what to expect coming out here. It's really not what people think. Brad, what's up? Yeah, with 16 grandbabies, I'm in trouble. Luckily, Grandma don't buy a lot for Christmas. So I'll get off there, and some of the grandkids are already grown. I don't know about all that now. I damn near got to get a second job, right? No, way we've always done it. What's up, Evasive? Is we help out the ones that needs a little bit of help. We don't try to buy for all them grandbabies. That's their parents' job. If they're coming over to the house or something, there'll be a little something there for them, something or something. But we try to help out whichever our kids needs a little bit of help. So, JJ, what's up? You did, Barry. You're doing gooder. But why did you have to leave the damn door open and let JJ in with you? I don't know. I might have put up a band against Cajuns and not let him in. Actually, Michael's out there, and now I can't think of it. Starts with M, over there around the 99, 99, I think. I used to pick up boats there. There's Michael. Michael, where you at? Barry's out there in Chula Vista. I know y'all ain't close, but Modesto, thank you. I couldn't think of that for nothing. Somebody's got to watch him. We just need to put him on a leash. Yeah, JJ, come in talking that smack, and now we're all over you. Well, that's a fact, Brad. I never did put myself in financial stress over the holidays. We got what we could afford. Now, there was times that I was starting to buy 4 and 6 months ahead of time when my kids were home. But I never understood these people that would just get credit cards and max them out and just thousands of dollars worth of nonsense. I never could make any sense out of that, so I didn't do it. Oh, you're so right, JJ. We would. Carlos has been busting his butt on other stuff. He called me last night and we talked for about an hour. He's had some family issues to take care of, people visiting and whatnot. So he called to apologize for not being up on top of stuff, and I like, dude, this is YouTube. It'll take care of itself. You take care of family. Family's always first. Yeah, always is, Michael. She's a little under the weather, but she's doing better today. I asked her if that was because I left this morning. Told her it seemed odd she was only sick the one day I was home. It made me do all the cooking. That ain't right. 10 people and 5 likes. Somebody get a hitting on that like button. Well, he said something about that. I ain't sure if we can believe him or not. Next, you're going to tell me you two are kin, right? Y'all are cousins? I don't know. I'm not in Texas. I'm in Oklahoma and it's like 42. But it was a cold spell push through Texas. When I talked to Grandma, I don't know, a couple hours ago, she said it was like 63. But it got a little bit chilly down there today. They closed the state down long enough for everybody to go home and find their jackets. Nobody knew where their coats were. Raised in the swamp. I hear you. Well, maybe I should have you do some of them Cajun dishes for me. JJ and D was supposed to do some for me, and I ain't got squat out of them. I want some Cajun dishes up on my video list there. You make them and let me know, and I'll walk you through how to get them up on my channel for me. Well, you can get them to a certain part of my channel, then Little Joe has to do the rest, but Ain't nothing wrong with being raised in the swamps. I'm raised in the hills myself. Not that you can tell by my fine and proper spoken. 47 in Tennessee. Yeah, it's a little cold spell pushing up through here. Now, I looked at the weather up here Oklahoma way. It's supposed to stay chilly this week. I didn't look at next week. Michael, what'd you wind up getting to eat out of that place? You said they had decent grub. Well, now that don't mean you're going to be cooking with some of that Kentucky bourbon, does it? Do you cook, Bobby? Ain't too many coon asses that don't know how to cook. Well, that's cool. See, that's the kind of cooking I want. Because they're cooking half their meals out there over the fire. Ain't nothing wrong with purple hull peas. Do you have to shuck them yourself? Well, a couple of cold sandwiches beats going hungry, dude. Been there, done that. Ain't no poor JJ about it now. He asks for everything he gets. Oh, okay. Well, I did a mixed breed meatloaf for Grandma. I did that homemade chili. Well, the leftover chili. And Grandma was supposed to make a meatloaf, and she wasn't up to it. So, I wound up, we had been talking about it. We make two entirely different meatloaves. And when I went to make it last night, I used a little bit of my way of doing it, a little bit of Grandma's way of doing it. It turned out pretty good, actually. Well, I do the Tex-Mex style. Your true chili does not have beans, and I like beans in my chili. So I did the beans in it. Now, if I'm buying canned chili for hot dogs and stuff, I buy it without beans. But when I make chili at home, I normally make it with pinto beans, and I started from scratch with dry beans. And it takes me all day to make it. The previous weekend, I cooked up them Great Northern, and Grandma had opened up some ranch-style beans to feed the workers over the weekend, which they did not eat them. So here I am. I've got 2 big bowls of leftover beans in the ice box. Me being the thrifty man I am, I couldn't see. Grandma had bought me some dry pintos too. I just couldn't see cooking up another pot of beans for chili when I had 2 big bowls of beans left there. So I just used leftover beans and took off from there. Now, I hear you, Warwick. Right? No, I can't say that I have, Evasive. If you want to make it into a video, y'all have to email us. Send us an email. You can find the email over on the About page. That will give my boy your email address. He needs your email address. And you see a link that says share your videos. You can't share your video until you send Little Joe an email so he can get your email address and make it so on that other link. So after a little bit, he'll shoot you back a message, tell you you're up, and you can go on there and upload your video. Something like that. So then once you upload it to there, then we share it over to our channel. I hear you, Barry. Yeah, it's amazing what happens in them swamps. Well, you know what that's about, right, Warwick? That's about the football nonsense going on. Oh, you live in Houston? I'm just north of it. They've had a thing going on over here, Warwick. I'm sure you don't watch American football. All these multi-million-dollar football players, and that's how much they make, is millions of dollars. They have decided during our national anthem to take a knee disrespecting our flag, our anthem, and us veterans. And there's a bunch of us that have taken offense to it. Of course, to hear them say it, it's got nothing to do with disrespect. Right. It's got to do with all the blacks being shot in the streets. Right. I ain't buying it. Facts have already showed white people get shot more often than black people by cops. And if you're taking a kneel or refusing to come out on the field during the national anthem, you're disrespecting our national anthem. So one of our veteran groups that a gentleman that started a t-shirt business that only hires veterans, he started this Just Stand. So I supported his company, and me and Grandma got a Just Stand t-shirt. Actually, we got two. There's a long sleeve one in the closet. I don't mind them protesting. I totally agree with disagreeing with the government, but when you disrespect my flag and my country, that part I got a problem with. And don't tell me that you're a multi-million-dollar football player and you're being oppressed. I don't want to hear it. You don't have a clue what's going on in the streets no more. I'm up here at our yard. Barry, what are you trying to do to them, taking them to Houston? Yeah, there's too many people boycotting them, JJ. Yep. So now I'm a firm believer in supporting your college your local college football, your high school football, but NFL, it was turning into a circus anyway, and then they started this nonsense. I don't see how any American-loving patriot could watch that garbage. I don't see how you can bring yourself to watch it. But that's just me. You have a right to be wrong. Not anymore, Bobby. I run Oklahoma and Texas most of the time. When they're mad at me, they make me go to Louisiana over there real close to JJ. I shouldn't have never told them about it. Texas takes their football pretty serious. But then again, they take their flag and national anthem pretty serious too. I used to run Chicago. I used to run out of Chicago. I never ever had any problems with it. I sure hear a lot of people talk about it though. What up, Jeff? See, now, Jeff, I was just telling Grandma, we used to do something like that. We didn't make bean cakes out of them, but I told her we'd take them cold beans after they had gelled up, and we mashed them up and put mustard with them, and we made bean sandwiches. Ah, they was pretty good. I still like one periodically nowadays. Back then, it was just a matter of survival. That's what you had to eat. That's how you was taught to eat it. So, well, it might be a FEMA camp. Of course, if Carlos was here, he'd tell you what FEMA stands for. Mullet Head, what's up? Well, that's totally up to you, Mullet Head. That oilfield stuff can pay pretty good, but you can get laid off pretty quick. And nowadays, they're having to obey some of the laws over there, too. They don't just get to run outlaw like they used to. So, I mean, trucking's trucking. Find what works for you. Oh, yeah, W9's my favorites. Never tried that. I like my bologna sandwiches and chili and or beans. I like my hot dogs and or beans. I got one bowl of chili left back there. I tore that chili up this weekend. That was good stuff. So I didn't bring any hot dogs, but I got some cheddar wurst. So sometime this week I'll have some cheddar wurst and chili. Hey, you know what Elvis's favorite sandwich was? Grilled peanut butter and banana sandwiches with mayonnaise. The mayonnaise part runs it for me. Yeah, well, go for it, Mullet. Sound like you already been trucking. You got a clue, right? Well, fracking's a personal opinion on whether it's good or bad. Well, that's like I made that chili. I used bison meat in it. One of my subscribers that doesn't like these live feeds, he told me, oh, it was sounding good till you got the bison. No, thank you. I told him he ain't got a clue what he's missing. He's like, no, some things I ain't going to try. I've never been like that. I'm a firm believer that if I go to Louisiana and y'all are cooking dinner and it's something I ain't never had before, guess what? This old hillbilly's going to try it, you know? Hell, we ate all kinds of stuff up in the hills that y'all would probably say, huh? But if you came to our table and sat down to eat and we're all eating it, I'd expect you to chow down and try it too. So I've never been one to just turn my nose up at something because of the name of it. And that's what a lot of people do, is that they hear the name. Really? Have a sense of adventure. Try something different. Oh, I love gator. You know, that's like squirrel. My oldest daughter, I didn't raise her. She grew up in California. Now she lives on the East Coast. Oh, those are just tree rats. I said, say what? You know those are just tree rats. Well, maybe in the city they are. Out here it's a damn squirrel. And we shoot them and eat them. So I made some squirrel and barbecued it. Grandkids tried it. And she's like, what's it taste like? They said, barbecue. Duh. You know, in the city, yeah, I can see where they would be eating out of the trash, and any animal in the city is going to go for the easy meal. That's the nature of the beast on any critter, on most any critter. But out here in the country, we ain't got all them trash cans sitting at the bottom of the tree. Oh yeah, I love trying new foods. Oh yeah, I've ate crawfish many times. Well, that sounds good, invasive. I like all of it. I love Brussels sprouts. Grandma don't like them, but I love them. Lots of butter. No, every. Not any, every. Yeah, I grew up eating coons. Possum, they stink when you cook them. They got so much fat in them. Grandma used to eat possum. You gotta cook them 2 or 3 times to get all the fat and stink out of them. I'm not real crazy. I don't know that I've actually ate it. I know I had been around when Grandma was cooking it when I was a younker. And I think we left before dinner, if I remember correctly. Oh. Gator's pretty good. And actually, you know, there's an old joke about everything tastes like chicken. The gator really does taste a lot like chicken. You know, groundhogs. Now, I've ate my share of groundhogs, even as an adult out on my own. I like groundhogs. The younger they are, the better they are. Depends upon your rabbit. If you get the domestic raised rabbit, yeah, they'll taste a little like chicken. Your wild rabbit doesn't. Turtle soup, grew up on it. Actually, as a kid, where we lived, the farmers would contact my dad because the turtles were so bad in their cow ponds that they was biting the cows and stuff when they'd wade through there to cool off and get a drink and stuff. So every so often they would contact my dad and we'd go set trout lines on their ponds. They would have their cows out of that field for a while, and we would catch all the turtles out of that pond that we could. And back then, we used to get some bigger than the old stove top. We had wooden wooden stoves that we heated with, and they was pretty big. And we'd haul them turtles in there so big, Dad and one of his men friends, it'd be all they could do to set it up on top of that stove. They got to be pretty damn big. More than us kids could handle. Yeah, deer's good, period. I'm not a big fan of jerky. Well, it ain't the spices that you use to kill the taste, Michael. You have to cook it and get rid of the grease. That's just like tuna. If you ever catch any real tuna out on the Gulf, it is an extremely bloody fish. And if you try some of them, there's a whole lot of different strands of tuna. Some of them, if you cut them up and try to cook them into a steak, they taste so damn tuna it'll blow the top of your head off. But those are usually your real bloody ones. So you wind up soaking them or cooking them 2 or 3 times with a little salt water to get all that salt out of it. That same way we used to do our deer meat. You bleed them out as good as you can when you kill them, but also if you'll soak them in salt water, it'll pull that blood out of there and turn that meat just as white as can be. Just a couple little tricks that we used. When I was in high school, or when I was in school, I didn't make it very far in high school. Although, yes, I do have college, but that's a whole different story. We used to be able, the boys used to get time off from school, legitimate days off from school, just to go deer hunting. Lord, nowadays, they don't even want you to own a gun, much less go deer hunting. But back in them days, every male member needed to go get a deer to help feed the family. It wasn't a sport thing, it was a living thing, it was existing. It's how we got along. Which is why I don't really hunt and fish nowadays. I grew up doing it, but we did it to live, to make it through the winter. Oh. Do you know where the strong taste from the catfish come from, Michael? It comes from the belly. Catfish are bottom feeders. And if you'll look when you catch a catfish, some of them have a dark brown or black streak down the bottom of their belly. That's your strong taste right there. If you cut that off and don't cook it, it won't be so bad on you. Now, myself, I like that part, but that's where your strong taste in catfish comes from. Well, of course, I'm right, Evasive. I'm Papa Joe. I don't know what I was right about, but it shouldn't surprise you. Jason, you was first, man. All right, Barry, be safe, brother. Thanks for stopping in. $11 people and 8 likes. Somebody's slacking on the likes now. Well, got one more like out of you. Well, it's 9 now. It was 8 a minute ago. Yeah, exactly, Michael. We didn't have no school shootings or none of that. If you and I had a problem, we'd go out to the Smoking Rock and we'd just duke it out and take care of the problem. Nowadays, kids can't do that. They're afraid to get an ass whooping. You know, back in our day, it wasn't a big deal. Me and you fixing to go out here and swap some hide. Somebody gonna get a bloody nose, and after it was all over, all right, cool. You know, it's over. Most of the time. All right, Barry, be safe, brother. Thanks for coming in. Oh, okay. Well, it's like I got that pond on my property. I enlarged it and all that, not for me to fish. That's for Grandma. Grandma likes fishing. The son likes fishing. The grandkids like fishing. You know. Oh, damn it. There's Carlos. I knew I shouldn't open this up this long. What up, Carlos? You fixing to run off to work, ain't you? About time. Been sleeping for 3 or 4 days. Oh, the gators ain't a problem. We had a gator in my pond when we bought the property. Did a little baby about 4 foot long or so. He'd come up out there and just watch us. It never bothered nobody, and eventually it went away. Oh yeah, word to go around that Joe and Mike's gonna have a get together at the Rock. Then you'd have a bunch of people, because we had a smoking rock. You could go over there and smoke and nobody said nothing to you. Nowadays, Lord have mercy. So now they don't want you to go that rock and smoke, much less to go ahead and bust a knuckle on somebody. Pulling doubles tonight. Well, that ought to pay double. Well, then you got to pay attention. Especially if you know you got gators around. And everybody knew I had a gator in my pond, so, you know, the grandkids didn't go down there by themselves. Their daddy'd go with them and all that other stuff. Some of the teenagers would go down there. They was wanting to catch it, and I had to make them leave it alone. But yeah, gators just part of life down in our neck of the woods. That's why I got a big umbrella insurance policy on my property too. I don't know. Yeah, we had a grove of woods out there, or a stand of woods, I should say, and a big old rock out there. That's why it's called the Smoking Rock. And that's where we'd all go. Of course, the principal knew where to go to find the troublemakers, because we was usually out there. Well, that's cool. Wednesday be your first day back? So you had a chance to go fishing and everything. If you got any power dams up there, where that spillway is usually a good place to go fishing in the cold weather. Because that water's a little bit warmer. Oh, we got snakes out the yin yang. We have a big snake problem on our property. Water moccasins, coppermouths. Grandma just killed a little pygmy rattlesnake. Yeah, we got snakes. We lost one of our puppy dogs to it 2 years ago, and the other one got bit this year. Well, I went live last night when I was doing that meatloaf. Nobody, well, one person came in and they wouldn't say nothing. They wouldn't hit the like button. Did one of them lurkers hanging out in the background. And I said, okay, you ain't gonna talk, have a good evening. And I hit the exit out button. So I don't mind if it's only one or two people, don't mind that at all. But if they're going to just lurk and not talk and not hit the like button. Yeah, I did. Well, and I'm starting to figure out when it takes forever for people to come in that it didn't send out notifications. But I also know enough of y'all watch and keep an eye out for when that does happen. Which on a weekend, I knew nobody expected me to go live. So it wasn't a big deal. But I tried to entice this person to talk to me. Who are you? You know, what's up? What's going on? They wouldn't talk to me at all and hit the like button, man. Wouldn't hit the like button, and I just got aggravated and I got pissed off. And I just said, bye. So, and I know I shouldn't be like that, but I am. I'm me. And I want you to know I worked on this and I got this rascal leveled out. This left side was bigger. Oh, that's possible. But I was cooking and I actually had my shirt on too. What up, Grasshopper? We don't need to talk like that in here, man. Don't do that. This is a family channel. That won't be tolerated, my friend. Well, at that time, actually, I wasn't smoking because I was trying to make that meatloaf. I was going to shoot the bull with y'all while I made that meatloaf. So it wasn't a big deal. But still, I just feel like they're just kind of hanging out in the back of the room, like when you go to church and you got those that hang in the very back and they don't want to sing or nothing else. They're just there watching everybody else. Well, that's what that kind of stuff makes me feel like, is that they're lurking in the background and just watching. With a short fuse. Oh, Carlos, I made a comment to your wife on one of my videos. I think it was when I was making the chili. I don't know if y'all got to watch it or not. But I pointed out to her I was wearing a shirt. You thought who was in a big truck? Yeah, that's I like that just staying. Me and Grandma just got these. I thought Little Joe could make them and not get a copyright infringement. I don't know if he would or not. But right now, he's of a frame of mind. The other shirts ain't selling. Why put up more? And it's hard to argue with that logic. Oh, goodness. Getting a little bit of heartburn. Must be from that Subway. I ate Subway today. That's true. I ain't got a clue. They didn't dispatch me on nothing, which is highly unusual for this outfit. So evidently they didn't get enough loads today from our dedicated people over here. And they're waiting till in the morning to see what they got. Which I'm fine with that. I didn't have hours to go anywhere anyhow. So instead of leaving out first thing in the morning, I'll hang around an hour or two, and chances are by 8, 9 o'clock they'll have me on something. Whether I have to go get it or wait on someone to bring it to me is a different story, and I don't care which. If the local boys don't have enough work, they'll have one of them go pick it up. And if they're swamped, they'll ask me if I'll go pick it up. Which I don't care. That place over there, they load you quick. I've talked to them about a video. And I don't, she was going to find out from their upper echelon. I promised them I wouldn't show their robots and all that other stuff. Only right there at the back of my truck. So we'll see how that goes. And as fast as they are, by the time I get parked, go in and talk to her, and she buzzes me into the factory, chances are I'll be half loaded. They got like 3 or 4 forklifts in there, and if they're not busy doing something else, you end up with all 4 of them forklifts running in and out of your truck. And they've got it down to a science, boy. I mean, even with 4 of them, they work together real good, and you're loaded in 10 minutes or less. It's like, damn, boys. Yeah, it could be, JJ. Oh, goodness. How long we been going? 50 minutes. Won't be much longer, and I'm going to be calling it a day. 10:15 my time. Yeah, they didn't dispatch me by the time they got out of the office today, so I stopped. Took me about a 20-minute nap. Went and grabbed me a Subway and ate half of it. Rode in this last 120 miles. Got parked up over here after dropping my trailer and sat here and did my paperwork. Talked to Grandma and ate the other half of that sandwich. So, how long do they run? Oh, I don't know. I've had them up to 2 hours. No, I ain't at the house. I'm in the truck. Yeah, I'm up here by the yard. No, Jose, I'm not a matchmaker. And you could come in and say howdy, not just come in and ask about matchmaking. And you could hit the like button. 14 people and 10 thumbs up. What's up with that? Nah, that ain't what I'd call it. You can call it different. We got a different word for it than that. Well, good. Thank you. Oh. Oh, Hurricanes parked over here, 3 of their bobtails. They got some pretty trucks. They're the same trucks as ours. They just have a different paint scheme on them. Oh. What up, Crystal? Well, Jose, I can tell you now, if you're wanting to find a woman only because of her looks, I feel sorry for you. There's a whole lot more to a relationship than looks. The looks is going to disappear after years. Then what are you going to do? You going to want to trade her in on another pretty one? You need to base a relationship on more than sex and looks. Exactly, Carlos. Well, Carlos is my moderator. Oh. When I can get him to join. JJ gets the heat every night. He brings it on himself. But Carlos, that is something we need to find out. Because a lot of times comments are made that I miss or I catch several minutes later. But I wouldn't mind having like that screwball while ago coming on there with his comment. I wouldn't mind it. There you go, Michael. Well, I know if Grandma was after me just for my looks, then I'd be in trouble in these later years. And I'm still a chick magnet, but come on. Exactly, Bobby. JJ's jealous of everything about me. Yeah, read the shirt. That's not true, Jose. Oh, I know, Carlos. Well, my daughter-in-law's on here too, I've seen, so she needs to tell Little Joe that we need to look into monitors or moderators or whatever you call them on here. And I wouldn't have a problem making JJ and Carlos moderators on here. Well, Jose, you ain't noticed we don't play on this channel. This is a non-play channel. Or something. Well, unless we're all show up, then it might turn into a playroom, kindergarten. Well, good, Carlos. Are you having troubles over there? I hadn't seen any, other than, I've seen a couple of decent posts over there. I seen Kale made a comment over there on it. We do need y'all to be going over to the Facebook, Simple Living with Papa Joe Facebook, and participate over there a little bit. Do some likes, some comments, share some decent, interesting stuff of your own. Kale was just over there and made a comment about his third week ending or starting or something. So if y'all would go help participate on the Facebook page, that would be great. As soon as we get it up and running a lot better and get more activity on it, then Carlos is going to step over to the Patreon page and try doing something with it. After, say, January 1st, after New Year's, my boy's going to have a little bit more time, so then he'll be able to step in and step up and help it go on. This is all growing, the YouTube and the Facebook, it is growing. The Facebook one is slacking behind, so we need y'all to go over there and help out with it, if you would, please. And it's the same name as this, Simple Living with Papa Joe. Oh, good, Carlos. Well, I might have to reconsider JJ. He's obviously on drugs. $6.80. Well, cool, Evasive. Thank you. Well, now you do realize, Daniel, that JJ is a Cajun, so what he's on is probably medicated prescriptions, and they're just trying to keep him down here in the real world. And I'm not sure that it's working. They might have to double up on something. Might have to take away something too. You don't know. Yeah, there you go. Cajun Raging or Raging Cajun. Well, I tell you what, the grain haulers are working today around here, all up and down through the route I take coming up from the Houston area. They have just been getting it. I've got, I don't know, 40 miles of two-lane road that I travel, and one of them got behind me in the rain, and I'm taking it easy. I'm running 500 speed limit. Had plenty of time and all that. But boy, we got to that passing lane, and he couldn't get around me quick enough. And I backed out of it and let him go. So, I mean, he was getting it. Well, thank you for the flowers, fellers. I like my candy, I just don't like my truth sugar coated. That's one of the things that has brought me to like Trump more and more. I ain't gonna lie. When he first started running, I wasn't that crazy about him. But as I kept getting to know him, like the rest of the nation did, I like his no sugar added point blank truth. Lay it out there, call it like it is. If you got a problem with it, that's your problem, not mine. I kind of like that attitude. So, it's in the 40s here, dude. It's down Georgia 40s. But I got my bunk heater on back there and my window cracked halfway down. It's comfortable. So I've got my bunk heater set on like 68 more or less. So I hear it getting ready to kick on again back there. Y'all never hear it. So it'll keep it nice and warm. The damn thing will run you out of here if you ain't careful. Yeah, he did. I'm at our yard, Daniel. Diesel dog, dadgummit boy. Where you been hiding? I know you ain't working on trucks or you'd been on my live streams. Did you start driving somewhere? See, now he gonna wind up going and buying one of my dadgummit shirts. I think Little Joe put one of them up, didn't he? Cylinder heads on a tugboat. Well, dadgummit boy. I worked for a company down there in South Texas. And down there by Ingleside, Texas. And they also had tugboats and stuff down there. Our sister company that our owner also owned. And they got a motor out of a train. Biggest damn motor I ever seen in my life. And I swear them boys could have got in, what is it, the cylinder heads where the pistons and stuff go, the piston hose. I swear a grown man could have stepped up through them. Now, it had been a skinny one, but still. That was the biggest motor I ever seen. They was tearing that thing apart. And they had to have forklifts for lifting a bunch of them parts off there. I was like, my Lord. I'll bet they are massive. I like watching those guys that do the crab fishing and or lobster fishing, the deadliest catch stuff. Man, they got some big boats and some big motors in them. And then stuff starts going south on them. It ain't good. Some of them do have a backup motor in them. Some of them don't. One of them, he got just left out there in a storm. You know, lost his motor. I don't remember why. It was not a good scenario. That's my fear of going. I had a chance to go do some long lining before when I was a younger man. I didn't go. I was cheeky. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, they've got Shelby coming back on. Shelby's crazy. He's been bit by so many snakes that don't even bother him anymore. He gets mad and bites a snake back. One of them had bit him on one of the first shows I've seen him in. Well, you bite me, I'll bite you back and bit damn snake back. I was like, now that's, ooh boy, that's about as Cajun as you can get there. Duck Dynasty turned into too much drama for me. When it first came out, yeah, I watched it and I liked it. But it's not what it used to be. It got where I'm not interested. And Grandma had a whole bunch of them recorded. We just wasn't watching them. We had probably like 200 of them or something recorded. And I went in and deleted them all. Oh, that Turtle Man was about a joke. He was out of Tennessee or Kentucky, somewhere like that. I forget, but I watched him a few times that first season. I wasn't impressed at all. He is nothing. Buddy boy, he runs that boat like you wouldn't believe. Did you see where he took the professor out with him? So, and then he was going to take them kids out camping. And Mom told the dad, you're going. Yeah, you ain't sending our kids out with Shelby alone. We needed adults in this group. Was he from Kentucky? Yeah. Depends on how long you take it. Yep. Now, I'll grant you, for a man to go under the water and catch a turtle, is you're doing something, you know. Them turtles, they grab hold of you, they ain't gonna let go. But that part was impressive. But from there on, no. Evidently, I wasn't the only one because it didn't last very long. There was another guy from Louisiana, Billy. I can't think of what his name, Billy the Exterminator or something. Now, he was pretty cool. He went around, you know, if you had a roach infection, he used natural stuff to get rid of them. If you had bees, he used natural stuff, well educated on that. And he was pretty cool. Now the turtle man, I seen him go down there and catch some live critters with his hands. Where I grew up with, that would have been called stupid. But he didn't try to catch it in a cage or none of that. He had a thing about wanting to catch it all by hand and release it, and he chased that fox down out of that one chicken house. That's stupid. That fox would turn around and tear you up. You know, there ain't no need for that. To put your hands on that stuff and catch it is very stressful on the animals and very dangerous for the human. No, yeah, I didn't get into him at all. Yeah, I'm not into all that coyote hunting either. I know there's certain parts of the country where they are overpopulated, and that's not a good thing. But I knew some boys in Georgia, they just loved going out and shooting them, period. Uh, I was up in Wyoming area, Montana, I forget, dead winter. I mean, it was cold. And where I stopped at, there was a collector there, and these pickups was coming in with coyotes. And this old boy had sideboards on his truck, and that truck and trailer that he had was full of coyotes. Now, I guess I was going to take them and hide them out, but I don't know. It's kind of like the wild hogs. If they're a nuisance, I totally understand trying to thin them out. But that ain't my gig. That ain't my cup of tea. And if you're doing it to thin them out, I'm okay with it. If you're doing it because you're bored and just want to go shoot something that's living and kill it, no, that ain't, I ain't okay with that. That's called noodling, David. I hear you, Carlos. See now, it would have been the early 80s. Noodling used to be against the law. And I first started working the oil field. I had an old boy I worked with. He's an Oklahoma redneck fella. I was over not far from here, a little town called Ada, Oklahoma. And he invited me to go noodling. And I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? And he started telling me. Now, I was fresh out of the Marine Corps. I haven't been out of the Marine Corps maybe 3 years. And skinny as a rail, well fit, good shape. And he started telling me about that nonsense. And I said, you're on more drugs than I am. Hell no. Well, he just laughed at me, but no. Oh, no. That didn't sound good to me at all. Noodling is where you work the bank of a river or a lake, and you find a hole under a tree or in the bank, and you just reach your hand in there, and if it's a catfish, you want that catfish to bite you. And when it does, you grab it by the gills, and you pull that catfish out. And some of them are pretty big. So, and I'm like, what if it's a beaver or a snake? Well, whatever bites you, you pull it out. Oh, hell no. I wasn't doing it. Yeah, exactly, Carlos. No. There's some things, I know I'm a hillbilly and all that. There's just some things this old man ain't going to do, and I wouldn't do it as a youngin'. I mean, back then I was 22, 23 years old. Damn, was it that long ago? Wow, now I really feel old. But it's like, oh no. Oh me, oh my. Oh yeah. And I've watched some of the noodling competitions and stuff they had a couple years there. And these guys are showing scars on their arms and stuff. I mean, it's war trophies to them. They're bright, and women are doing it. Like, and stick your foot in there if you can't reach in there with your arm far enough. They have you stick your foot in there. I'm like, are you kidding me? Exactly, David. And they literally have fingers and stuff missing. And I'm like, no. And what's bad is they go back, they lose the finger, and all right, it quit bleeding. Let's go do it again. Really? Them mountain lions will kill you. Well, you got to learn not to worry about all that stuff and worry about your own self. Worry about you and your relationship with God. Don't worry about anybody else. Yeah, all them fires you have out there, I bet it does run a bunch of critters out of them hills. Well, don't be putting out cat food. You got to do some homework for me, Carlos. What I was talking about earlier. Well, that's the end of their whiskers can sting you a little bit. That ain't all that bad. So, yeah. Yeah, you see what you can learn. I'll talk to little Joe tomorrow. See if I can get him on it as well. Between you two computer nerds, well, hell, you've got Joe's contact information. Contact him and tell him what I'm wanting. His wife was on here earlier. She might mention it to him. And what I understood Joe to tell me, I've tried and it didn't work. So, oh goodness. Yeah, they do have some bones. I'm Mopar man. Uh, just a little story. After the big bailout when Obama came in, I was mad. I ain't gonna lie. And we went to buy a truck a couple years after that, and Ford was the only one that didn't take the bailout, so I bought a Ford. And it was a piece of junk. It had that 6.0 liter diesel in it, and I'd started my hot shot business, and it went out on me out on the road, and it was a very expensive fix. I did get it fixed, but it ruined me and cost me my business, and that's why I got out of hot shotting, and it's also why I swore off of Fords. Wound up losing the Ford, the only vehicle in my life that got repossessed, and I could have stopped it. I was just so mad at Ford. I was like, come get the piece of crap. I don't care. I wish now I'd went ahead and done it a different way. But I do have a temper on me. And every once in a while that temper gets going. And my logic and thinking goes out the door. So it was partly their fault and partly my fault. But I told Grandma then, I'm done with Fords. I'll never own another one. We own a Chevy van right now because that's what I got a good deal on. I need me another truck, and when I do, it's going to be a Dodge. I'm not doing Fords no more. So that's my story on those. Okay. Nah, that ain't working. Oops. No, that's what I tried a while ago, and I tried it again. That ain't working. Well, see, and that's what I found out, Evasive. I'm not a gearhead at all. And I wasn't in my right mind. That was right after I lost my son. And I was buying the truck with wrongful death money from losing him. And I didn't do my homework. So, which was another thing that was my fault. Y'all know how I am, but on telling y'all to do your homework. Well, the stuff I preach at y'all and try to teach you from my experiences, from my mistakes. Which is part of why I don't sugarcoat to y'all. You know, I've done made them mistakes, and I hope people coming into the industry can learn from my mistakes and don't have to repeat them. How many times have you said yourself, each and every one of you, that you'd listen to your daddy a little bit more about this, that, or something else, but we had to learn it the hard way, didn't we? Well, I'm doing the same thing here. I'm trying to get people to learn from my mistakes. So, all right, Daniel, take it easy. Thanks for stopping in. Carlos, I'm going to back up and try it again. Oh. Maybe it ain't doing it because I'm on my phone. I tried to tapping too. We'll see if we can get that taken care of in the next day or two. And We'll talk on the phone. Not tonight. I'm going to bed. Krista, are you or Loaded Joe still on here? All right, Carlos, thanks for stopping in. I'm fixing to get off here anyway. It's been an hour and a half. That's longer than most people are going to watch a one-sided conversation. Folks, let's call it a night. It's almost 11 o'clock my time. I got to go to bed. I appreciate y'all coming in. So, y'all remember, God loves you, and so do I. Go check out the Facebook page for us. Y'all have a blessed evening now. Good night. Take it easy, Bobby.